Hannibal, Missouri, a quintessential American town, nestled on the banks of the mighty Mississippi. May 10th, 1967. A seemingly ordinary day, marked on calendars just like any other. A Wednesday that should have faded into memory, a footnote in the town's history, but instead became unforgettable, etched forever in the collective consciousness of Hannibal. The sky was heavy, grey and expectant, pregnant with a storm that mirrored the unease brewing below, as if the whole town was holding its breath, anticipating something unknown, something ominous. That afternoon, three boys, friends, brothers, adventurers, Billy Hoag, 12, full of youthful energy and boundless curiosity, his brother Joey, 13, a little older, perhaps a bit wiser, but still eager for adventure, and their friend Craig Dowell, 14, the leader of the pack, the one who always knew the way, set out with flashlights and a shovel, tools for exploration, symbols of their youthful quest. They were headed for Murphy's Cave, a place whispered about in hushed tones, a place of local legend, a dark mouth in the earth on the town's edge, promising mystery and perhaps a little danger. No one saw them enter, their laughter and chatter swallowed by the looming darkness. No one saw them again. They vanished into the earth, leaving behind only questions and a growing sense of dread. Their parents waited for dinner, the aroma of home-cooked meals turning bitter with worry, but the boys never came home. As dusk fell, unease turned to panic, the shadows lengthening with each passing moment. Neighbours searched, their voices echoing in the twilight. Phone calls flew, carrying desperate pleas for information, and the truth settled in. The boys had vanished, swallowed by the earth or something far more sinister. The familiar sounds of childhood were replaced by a silence that crept into every home, a chilling reminder of what was lost. By nightfall, hope was replaced by dread, a heavy blanket smothering the town's spirit. The boys weren't at a friend's house sharing secrets and laughter. They weren't playing a prank, a harmless game of hide-and-seek gone wrong. They were simply gone, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. Hannibal's innocence disappeared with them, stolen along with their youthful dreams and aspirations. Lost to the shadows beneath the town, lurking in the depths of Murphy's Cave. The day the sky wept was the day three boys walked into a mystery that would haunt Hannibal forever. A dark stain on the town's history. The first question echoed, where were the boys? A desperate cry in the face of the unknown. The search for answers had only just begun, a long and arduous journey into the heart of darkness. The town would never be the same, forever marked by the absence of three bright young lives. The caves, a labyrinth of secrets and hidden dangers. The woods, a tangled web of shadows and whispers. The river, a silent witness to the unfolding tragedy. All suspects in a crime no one saw, a mystery that defied explanation. The boys' adventure had become a nightmare, a descent into the unknown from which they might never return. And the silence that followed was only the beginning, the prelude to a long and painful search for truth. Hannibal's story was no longer about Tom Sawyer's mischief, about carefree days and youthful adventures, but about a real-life tragedy, a dark chapter etched in the town's history. The day the sky wept, the town's heart broke, and Hannibal would never be quite the same again. Hannibal, Missouri, Mark Twain's beloved hometown, a place steeped in history and literary charm. A seemingly idyllic place of whitewashed fences, gently swaying in the breeze, and majestic riverboats churning up the mighty Mississippi. But beneath the postcard image, the carefully constructed facade of small-town America, secrets festered, like a hidden wound slowly poisoning the soul of the town. The Mississippi River, a constant presence, shaped the land and the people, their lives inextricably linked to its currents. It was a powerful force, carving out bluffs that stood as silent sentinels and creating deep shadowed hollows, and a labyrinth of caves that snaked beneath the town, a dark and mysterious underworld. These caves, with their winding tunnels and hidden chambers, were perfect for hiding things. Memories best forgotten, long-held grudges that simmered beneath the surface, and sometimes, tragically, people who disappeared without a trace. In 1967, Hannibal was a close-knit community, where everyone knew everyone else's business, or so it seemed. But not everything was shared. Secrets were carefully guarded, whispered behind closed doors. Some doors stayed closed, their inhabitants choosing to remain isolated. Some stories, the darker ones, never made it to the tourist brochures or the gift shops, remaining buried in the town's collective memory. When the boys vanished, disappearing without a trace from a seemingly safe environment, the town's carefully constructed surface cracked, revealing the darkness that lurked beneath. Whispers spread like wildfire, fueled by fear and uncertainty. Was it a tragic accident, a terrible twist of fate, or something far darker, something sinister at play? Theories multiplied, each more unsettling than the last, as the town grappled with the unthinkable. Was it a drifter passing through, a stranger with unknown motives, or a local resident, someone they thought they knew? Someone hiding in plain sight, masked by familiarity, concealing their true nature. The caves, with their dark and silent depths, became a chilling symbol of the town's hidden fears, a place where anything could be concealed. The mystery wasn't just about 3 missing boys and their uncertain fate. It was about the secrets Hannibal kept, the unspoken truths that haunted its streets and its people. The town's carefully crafted image of innocence, its reputation for wholesome charm, was shattered beyond repair. Every neighbor became a suspect, their friendly smiles now viewed with suspicion and distrust. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, every corner concealing a potential danger. Hannibal's story was no longer just Twain's, a tale of youthful adventure and river life. It was a tale of whispers and shadows, of secrets and lies, a story that would forever haunt the town. And the truth, whatever it may be, was buried deeper than any cave, lost in the darkness of the past. For Hannibal's boys, adventure was a birthright. Billy, Joey and Craig grew up in the shadow of Tom Sawyer, where every bluff and cave promised discovery. On that Wednesday they set out for Murphy's Cave, drawn by rumours of new passages unearthed by construction. Armed with flashlights and a shovel, they were treasure hunters, explorers, living out the stories they'd grown up hearing. Murphy's Cave wasn't the safe, guided tour. It was wild, secret and dangerous. The boys had likely explored it before, but the new blasting made it irresistible. Maybe they hoped to find arrowheads, old bottles, or something no one else had seen. They left home with the confidence of youth, promising to be back later. There was no warning, no sense of danger, just the thrill of adventure. But the line between play and peril is thin. That day they crossed it. Their quest for adventure became a tragedy, and Hannibal's legacy of boyhood adventure was forever changed. Beneath Hannibal lies a maze of caves, dark, silent, and unmapped Murphy's Cave. The boys' destination was treacherous, tight passages, slick mud, sudden drops. The recent blasting made it even more unstable, opening new dangers. Did the boys find a new passage, a doorway to adventure that became a trap? The caves could hide secrets forever, voices swallowed by stone light, lost in darkness. If the boys were trapped, no one would hear them. The very mystery that drew them in could have sealed their fate. The caves became a silent accomplice, holding tight to whatever happened that day. In Hannibal, the underground world was as much a character as any person, and it kept its secrets well. By sunrise, Hannibal was mobilized. Police, firefighters and volunteers swarmed the area, starting at Murphy's Cave. Searchers plunged into the darkness, calling the boys' names, their voices echoing off cold stone. The cave was perilous. Slick mud, jagged rocks, suffocating air. As hours turned to days, the search grew. National Guard, expert cavers, search dogs. Every inch of cave, woods and river was combed, but there was nothing. No footprints, no flashlight, no clothing. The boys had vanished without a trace. The cave, the most logical answer, offered no clues. It was as if the earth had swallowed them whole. Hope faded, replaced by despair. The searchers were left with only questions, and Hannibal's nightmare deepened. For 10 days, search teams mapped new corridors, squeezed through impossible spaces, and found nothing. The silence inside Murphy's Cave was absolute. With hope gone, authorities sealed the cave, burying the entrance under tons of earth. For the families, it was a living nightmare. Their sons entombed, answers lost, but the mystery only grew. If the boys weren't in the cave, where were they? the investigation turned outward toward people, not geology. Detectives questioned everyone, from drifters to neighbors. The search for lost boys became a hunt for a possible kidnapper. Hannibal's unity gave way to suspicion, and the echoes of the cave became whispers on the street. With the cave sealed, its secrets locked away behind cold steel, and the initial search exhausted, every stone unturned, every shadow investigated, the case, once a roaring fire of urgency, slowly turned to whispers, rumors, and ultimately dead ends. The leads dried up like rain in the desert. The FBI, with all its resources and reach, chased phantom leads across the country. Every reported sighting, no matter how improbable, every anonymous tip that came in through the phone lines, led only to disappointment and frustration. The boys' innocent faces haunted posters plastered on telephone poles and stared out from the front pages of news reports. But the trail, once so promising, was now undeniably cold, frozen in time. Years passed, each one a heavy weight on the hearts of those left behind. The cave's steel door, a symbol of closure, rusted and groaned under the relentless assault of the elements. The earth grew over the entrance, slowly reclaiming what was once disturbed. The case, once a media frenzy, gradually faded from the headlines, relegated to the back pages and forgotten archives, but it never faded from the family's hearts, where the pain remained a constant ache. Every holiday season, a stark reminder of absence, every birthday celebration, a bittersweet echo of what should have been, was a painful reminder of their devastating loss. Hannibal's ghost story, once a harmless tale, became a chilling warning. Don't ever go near the caves lest you disappear too. Detectives, haunted by the unsolved mystery, periodically revisited the cold case files, desperately hoping for a new break, but found only the heavy, suffocating silence of unanswered questions. No bodies to offer closure, no tangible evidence to examine, no ransom demands to trace, and no sign of a struggle to explain their disappearance. It was as if the boys had simply stepped out of existence, leaving no trace behind. The perfect vacuum of clues, the utter lack of any explanation, was maddening to investigators. The central mystery was no longer just where the boys went, what dark corner of the world they were taken to, but how they vanished so completely, leaving behind not even a whisper of their passing. Hannibal was left with a gaping void, where answers should have been, a wound that refused to heal. The trail hadn't just gone cold with the passage of time. It was as if it had never really existed in the first place, a phantom path leading nowhere. And the questions, like shadows in the night, only multiplied, deepening the mystery. In a case with no evidence, every odd detail became monumental. Years later, a man claimed he saw the boys get into a shiny car with a stranger near the cave. Was it an abduction? The memory was vague, but the image was chilling. No ransom, no communication, just a clean disappearance. Psychics and mediums offered visions, fueling speculation but yielding nothing. The boy's shovel was found near the road, not the cave. Was it a marker, a clue, or a distraction? Every lead led nowhere, every clue deepened the mystery. The case became a tangle of dead ends and unsettling possibilities, and the silence remained unbroken. Decades have passed, but the mystery endures. The parents are gone, buried under the same sky that watched their sons disappear. Murphy's Cave remains sealed, a monument to unanswered questions. Some believe the boys are entombed within, victims of a tragic accident. Others are convinced of foul play. A stranger, a local, a secret never revealed. The cave is either a tomb or a distraction, depending on who you ask. The silence is either geological or human. The questions persist. Did the earth swallow them, or did someone take them? Hannibal's innocence is lost, replaced by ghosts and rumors. The boys remain forever young, forever missing. The town's story is no longer about adventure, but about loss. The silence is the only answer Hannibal has ever received, and it lingers, haunting the town, refusing to let go.